Let's go to the Trump ban on, temporary ban, I should say, on foreign students going to Harvard University. This will affect some New Zealanders wanting to go to the US for university. Crimson Education is a consultancy that helps Kiwis get to US colleges. Jamie Beaton from Crimson is with me now. Jamie, good morning.
Great to see you.
Oh, good evening from you, I suppose. Good to have you on the show. How will this affect us?
So although terrifying in the short term for a student like Jared, a young Maori boy holding an offer to Harvard right now, waiting to go over, the reality is just earlier today, Trump announced that Harvard was quote unquote playing good in the negotiations. And it seems like there's going to be a quick path to ending this conflict. Harvard basically has agreed to hand over the names of certain students that were involved in protests. And as a result, that will give Trump the public face to be able to claim a win and step back. So we expect that all of our students, the 36 Crimson kids around the world holding offers, will be able to begin their fall semester in August.
Okay, well that's good. What about the students who are already there and studying? Are any of your students caught up in any of this? Have they been to any of the protests?
So definitely there's over 100 current Crimson students on Harvard's campus, including about 10 Kiwis across undergrad and postgrad. And from what we know, none of the students were actively involved in these protests, and so there isn't really risk for them with their visas being suspended. Of course, these headlines are jarring, and there are some Kiwi students who are currently staying in America because they don't want to leave the country and risk not getting back in. But it does seem like they'll be able to graduate on time. And there were a number of Kiwi Crimson students also that just graduated from Harvard in the most recent cycle. And, of course, they're off to now do their working in the US. So on the whole, disruptive, but unlikely to affect people's actual graduation prospects.
Yeah, but still pretty weird that you don't want to leave the country in case you don't get back in, right? What about the social media aspect of it? Because I know of students who've been worried about things they might have posted in the past. Are students sort of, washing or scrubbing their social media?
There are students doing this. I would say, in general, our Kiwi students aren't the most involved in the Israel-Palestine protests, and I haven't heard from too many that are so worried of what they've put online. And also, a lot of this is rhetoric from the Trump administration. But I would say there are, of course, students that are scraping kind of all public commentary, particularly any anti-Trump commentary. And this is particularly being spread around Chinese student communities, given the particular focus on those students from China. So yeah, it is kind of scary to see, and a sort of unprecedented thing to witness from an American president.
Jamie, what does it do, all of these moves, what do they do cumulatively or collectively to the reputation of these prestigious universities?
I would say the top US universities could be in Antarctica and people would still flock to go. I remember heading off from New Zealand to Harvard and Boston, the cold freezing winters. And honestly, these universities are amazing catalysts for opportunity. They launch you into Wall Street, Silicon Valley. They help me fundraise and build Crimson on the world stage. So even in the midst of a president that is volatile, we've actually had record applications to these schools, and there continues to be very strong interest. So there are families who see this and they are determined to go regardless because of the opportunity that it unlocks. But it certainly is disruptive. And for a family who's sitting there and isn't that fussed, they're thinking about going to maybe Australia or the US. On the margin, this can shift their attitude. But our students that have been training since the age of 13 or 14, like students like Jared, to get into these top schools, are still very committed to that cause.
Yeah, really interesting perspective. Jamie, thank you very much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. That's Jamie Beaton from Crimson Education.